All right, I'm going to start the clock and say go. Hi. Every 6 months, we have the opportunity to refresh our leadership team, and there are great leadership opportunities in BNI. So this presentation is all about sharing with you the process for changing our leadership teams and also the different roles that are available. So here we go. First of all, let's talk about the process itself. It starts now in July, and you can see we've got quite a lot of activity to do in July. We're presenting the process to you right now. We're going to establish a selection committee, which consists of the top table right here and also consists of the membership committee members. That selection committee identifies 2 to 3 candidates for the new president. And these people who they identify should be really strong in the traffic lights and be givers, not just in thank you for closed business, but in their hearts, giving people. And then the vice president will send the director consultant the list of 2 to 3 candidates so that the director consultant can interview them. This creates a really strong relationship between the director consultant and the candidates, and also ensures that they can work well together once the new president's identified. Now, we do this process even if the current president is eligible to continue. And the reason that we do that is so that the director consultant can begin to think about succession planning, and so that we can get to know the culture and the vision that all of you have for the way that the chapter is going to run. Once the director consultant selects someone from the list of 2 or 3 candidates, they then make that announcement, and the director consultant and the top table start to work together to figure out what the next leadership slate will look like. That's all going to happen in July. In August, we then start to assign the business builder training to everybody. Everybody should complete the business builder training in August and repeat it if you've already taken it before. And then in September, we do national workshops, which are really important. There are 3 different dates and 3 different times available throughout that month. So selecting the date that you want early on is important so that you can pop that into your diary and know. It's a 2-hour session and it's really valuable. The other thing that you want to do in September is have a one-to-one meeting with whoever already has the role so that you can learn what they do and how they do it in your chapter. All right. You can see July's got a lot to do. And the first thing starts with knowing what roles people are interested in. So once the president is chosen, the support director and the president will collaborate to build the rest of the leadership slate. And we want your input into your interests around the different roles that are available. So I recommend you grab a pen and piece of paper and take some notes on the next part of the presentation, because today we're going to ask you to complete a survey to register your interest level in the different roles that are available. Then in July, we're going to invite you to be a chapter leader. And in August and September, we'll continue the path along the timeline. So what are all the different leadership team positions available? Well, in the chapter operations manual, this is the org chart of a chapter. And so the executive of the group is the top table, the president, the vice president, and the treasurer, and then the support team. And we're going to go through each of these roles now. So first, let's start with the president. And what I really want to focus on in this presentation is the qualities that are needed for that. And I want you to think about whether or not you have those qualities or want to develop them, because that's what's really important here. I also want to let you know that I'm going to put a copy of this presentation into our WhatsApp chat so that you can see it and so that you can revisit some of the bullet points on each of the lists. Okay. All right, so for the president, we want someone who's dynamic and professional, has great speaking skills, can command the meeting, is organized, and is able to think on their feet. Great. For the vice president, we want someone who's fair, impartial, and consistent. Someone who's detailed and organized, because the vice presidential role is really, really important. It has a lot to do. The computer skills are important because we do need to do reporting as the vice president, but you don't need to know how to do that now. You just need to be able to be taught because all of the training is provided. They also need to be someone who really believes in and will help reinforce the BNI policies and the code of ethics. And then the membership committee, The purpose of that membership committee is to ensure that the chapter builds and maintains the highest B&I standards and successes. You really do drive the success of the chapter through the culture of the chapter. You uphold the policies, the code of ethics, and processes by coaching members to be and to do their best. So you always keep the best interest of the chapter in mind when making decisions. And let me go into a little bit of detail on the 4 different responsibilities of a membership committee member. There are 4 different responsibilities. One is quality assurance, making sure that new members are a good fit. Member engagement, making sure that renewing members have been good participants and are really eligible and endorsed by the chapter. A community builder, managing attendance and driving a balanced chapter. And then they're also responsible for being the point of contact when there are member disputes or conflicts. All of these 4 different roles are managed in tandem by all of the members of the membership committee. Usually we assign one member of the membership committee to be responsible for making sure that each of those things gets done, but all of the members of the membership committee are trained in all 4 areas. And the vice president, of course, chairs the meetings and submits the PALMS report on a weekly basis and prepares the weekly reports to present to the chapter. The mentor coordinator role. For about the first 6 months of a new member's journey, the mentor coordinator is the point of contact for those people. They help make sure that they have a passport and that they go through the Passport to Success program. They get them engaged in the member success program, and they help them along the way. Qualities are delegation and organization, attention to follow through, and encouraging people, welcoming people, and of course, being personable. All right, let's take a deep breath. There's a lot to take in. What else? What other positions are available? Of course, there's the treasury role. The qualities of a good treasurer are that they're detailed, they're organized, and they have computer and finance skills. But they don't have to be a bookkeeper or an accountant, because all of us are business people. So we all have a level of computer and finance skills. We can all be taught the role of the secretary treasurer if we need to be. And so it's a great role and it's got a lot of good exposure. So it's one that I really love. Of course, the visitor host team is really the engine for the weekly events that we have. There are a lot of different roles and responsibilities in the visitor host team, and it takes a big group of people to make sure that it runs well, and different skill sets, to be honest. But I do want to share with you that we want to make sure that every visitor and guest feels welcome and that the room is set up appropriately. So some people will greet, some people will help during open networking, some people will be orientation people, and others will be follow-up specialists. All of these roles require an important element of a team. And so the visitor host team is responsible to have warm, welcoming, personal, and attentive natures to them. Familiarity with the sales process, of course, because we are really funneling people through from the time they register to attend all the way through to after they have attended and following up with them. That's the sales process. And then cross-training for multiple visitor host roles. It's an important element and it's a really important position. The education coordinator, the main responsibilities are there, but also the qualities, a great presenter, someone who likes to prepare in advance and can take direction and be creative with the lessons that we learn each week. There are additional roles that you might be interested in: the growth coordinator, the social coordinator, the social media coordinator, and the timekeeper. These 4 roles are really important to the success of a chapter and shouldn't be overlooked, so it's important that we get involved in those. Now, let's go back to our member checklist. We wanted to make sure that today you have the information that you needed to be able to register your interest level in those different roles that are available. So that's all you need to do today. So we're going to put into the chat for the WhatsApp group this link, and you could look at it right now. It's in the QR code. I want to know what roles are attractive to you. I'm going to share that information with the new president and the existing selection committee so that we can help make sure that our chapter grows and thrives. Thank you very much for your time. I look forward to seeing you fill in that survey, and we want 100% participation. Have a great day. Thanks for having me. Bye. All right, pause. That was 9 minutes and 44 seconds. And I'm going to stop the recording and send this to Thank you.